Aloha, my friends. How are you today? It's a beautiful day here. This is Billy Wiggly coming at you live from the Ninth Island, Las Vegas, Nevada. Hey, check this out. Let's say I want to do a date stamp, right? I can just, boom, do that, put in a date. And let's say I want to do a timestamp. I can just, boom, do that and put in a timestamp. And I want to undo it. Chick, chick. How cool is that? Those are shortcuts. Shortcuts are a great way to spend your time in Excel. There's hundreds and hundreds of shortcuts that you can use to make your day so much easier. Check it out. Make sure you go to don'tgetmadgetskills.com right down there. Don'tgetmadgetskills.com. If you wait till the end of this video, there's going to be a link that you can just that appears right below me. You can just click on it and it'll take you right to this website right here. You'll see this pop-up come up, and then just put in your name and your email address and click on Get My Shortcuts. You're going to get 253 Excel shortcuts for Windows. Let's say that you're working on a Mac. Well, there's shortcuts for Mac available there to you as well. All right, let's get right into it. Let's learn about date and time functions. Welcome, my friends. Let's get ready to rock. Are you ready to start some learning? Because I always like to say, keep on learning and don't get mad. Get skills. So we're going to ease into functions. We are getting more and more into functions. We're getting ready for this Friday's Aloha Friday. We're having a webinar calculating your data, ease into functions. And we're going to talk about date and time functions today. So let's say that I want to build a spreadsheet that has a date. And every time I open up that spreadsheet, I want to know what the date is today. So what would be the function that does that? Yesterday's live stream, we learned how to find a function. We learned about the insert function tool. Let's go ahead and use it. So I'm going to click on the insert function tool, and the insert function tool is going to appear right here. And then I'm just going to search. I'm going to say I want to know the date. And I press go, and then there's a date function. That one returns the number that represents the date in Microsoft Excel date time code. I don't think that that's what I want. What if I say date today? Or today's date. Today's date. Today. Oh, hey. There happens to be a function called today. We could have gone into the categories and perhaps found there's date and time functions and look for it that way. So we found the today function, and Excel is telling us that today function returns the current date and time formatted as a date. All right, so let's do it. Let's go right ahead and select OK. And now the function arguments, it's explaining how this function works to us. The function arguments say that the today function returns the date formatted as a date. This function takes no arguments. And the formula result, it's volatile. Does that mean it's going to explode the moment we press OK? No, that means that it's dynamic. It changes. Check it out. I'm going to press OK, and there's today's date. That means that whenever you save the spreadsheet and close it, and then you open it tomorrow, it's going to display tomorrow's date, because tomorrow will be today. So tomorrow, the date will equal today, tomorrow being today. Okay, so whenever you want to know today's date, just use the function equals today. Equals today. And if you just wanted to change the format of it, we can easily change the format of it by just going into your formats. And let's say that you only wanted to display just the month and the day. We just go back to your home tab, and your home tab is where all of your formatting options are. And right inside of your home tab, you would see that you've got a different type of date that you can do, a long date. And if you wanted more dates, more date formats, you just go right into your dialog box launcher right over there, and in the dialog box launcher you would go in and see that you have more date formats. So that is the date function. It is dynamic, meaning that it changes. And now let's say that we want to know the time right now. What's the time now? Well, the function for that is equals now. Equals now. And when we look closely, Excel is telling us that the now function returns the current date and time formatted as a date and time. Now check that out. It also takes no arguments. How do I know? Because there's no arguments being displayed right there. It's just a parentheses with nothing in it. So that means that all we got to do is press enter, and then it gives us the date and time. Well, let's just say that I just want to display the time only. I don't need the date and time. I just want the time. So what would we do? What would we change? Because the now function displays, take a look. It returns the current date and time formatted as a date and time. So the keyword is formatted. So if we just want to see the date or we just want to see the time, we just need to change the format. That's right. So let me just go ahead and put in the now function, press enter because it takes no arguments. And now I'm just going to reformat this. So I can just right click in that cell and then just go to format cells, and right inside my format cells I can change the format to display just time only. Or let's see, I can just go to general time right here, and I'm gonna say I want to see this time. So in order, what I did here is I right clicked. Okay, so I right clicked in the cell and I went to format cells, and it goes into my format cells dialog box. Another way to do it is just go right up into your home tab where all your formatting options take place, and take a look right up here. On this format, I can just say, give me time right there, just like that. So give me some time, click, and there it is. There's the time being displayed. And that means that it updates. Every time you open up this spreadsheet, it's gonna update. Let's say I just refresh. F9, I press F9 to refresh. So like I'm just pressing F9 and F9 refreshes. So I'll just press F9 and watch the time change, F9. See, it's 9:38 and 44 seconds, 9:38 and 47 seconds. F9 refreshes, and that means that this function is dynamic. So there's a difference between dynamic and static. And I want you to know one thing. Functions are dynamic and shortcuts are static. So now we know that whenever we save the spreadsheet and we close it, when we open it tomorrow, for the date it's going to show the current date, and for the time it's going to show the time that we opened it up at. But sometimes we just want a date stamp, like you took a rubber stamp, remember those, and we just stamp the date on it. So to do that, I'm just going to use a shortcut. So control semicolon puts in a date. Control semicolon. So I'm just going to press the control plus the semicolon. So and I'm going to bold. Check this out. Control B. So whenever I press control semicolon and let me center, I'm going to select, right click, and I'm just going to center right there. All right. So I want to do a date stamp, control semicolon. There I have it. And that's a static date stamp. Control semicolon does a date stamp. And that means that it doesn't matter when I open up this workbook, it's always going to show 8/26/20, the date that I stamped it. It's static. Now I want to do a timestamp. I just do that right there. And that's static. It's not going to change. And what I did there is I pressed the shift. I pressed the control plus the shift plus the semicolon. And now I'm going to bold it. What's the shortcut to bold? Control B. You got it. All right. So let's do this one more time. I'm going to delete those shortcuts. So the date and time functions, the date and time functions, are they static or dynamic? They're dynamic. That's right. They update. And what about the shortcuts? Are shortcuts static or dynamic? That's right. They're static because they're like timestamps. So let's insert a date stamp. The shortcut is Control semicolon. Boom, there we have it. And now we want to put in a timestamp. The shortcut is Control Shift semicolon. Bam. And there you have it, my friends. Those are the date and time functions. And remember, functions are dynamic, shortcuts are static. And check down in the comments. There's a link to take you to register for the upcoming webinar. The upcoming webinar is going to be calculating your data. Right here in Don't Get Mad Get Skills, I'll just go to webinars link, and I see that we've got the link right here to take us to the registration page for the Calculating Your Data Ease into Functions mini webinar. It's going to be 30 minutes, no more, no less. And we're going to learn about calculating your data. Check it out. There you go. All you need to know. Alrighty, my friends, it's been a pleasure having you. Remember, I love you. And I always say, keep on learning. Watch some of these videos that are going to appear around me when you're watching the replay. And remember, don't get mad. Get skills. Aloha.